Next is from our boy Jay Baca. The
Yeah.
subject is Lex going to give it to you. Greetings and salutations, K100 crew. A couple weeks back, there was some discussion about what music Conan and Disco would listen to during workouts. My question is, did Lex Luger listen to DMX while working out, and did he ever find his CD?
Okay, this is based on a story I told when I was on the MLW podcast over 10 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm sure I've repeated it on our show early on. So when in the 90s, when you had all the hip hop wear like FUBU and like that, for the people that remember the 90s, and you know, DMX was really hot and gangster rap was hot and all that. So that's all I listened to, and that's all kind of like the young cats were listening to. And so one day Luger shows up wearing a FUBU shirt, right? And I'm like, what the is going on here? And then he's like, hey, has anybody seen my DMX tape? And we always made fun of him because, bro, you know, he didn't listen to DMX. You know what I'm saying? But much love to our boy Lex, anyways.
Next is some hillbilly money. Subject is marks and wrestlers. What's up, K100? Hope all is well. Been listening for some time on YouTube, and I love the show. Sometimes I don't think that people understand what marks really are and what wrestlers really are. By definition, a mark is someone who's the target of a hustle, robbery, or scam. The wrestlers, promoters, etc. are therefore the ones hustling the marks. Wrestlers and promoters are like old school carnies. They go town to town and find marks to scam or use the internet as a tool to do so. I love wrestling, but I've found far more often than not the wrestlers are a lot like degenerate gypsies. So I don't spend money on them. Why? Because I'm not a mark. If you spend money on wrestlers, then you're a mark. There's no such thing as a smart mark, because if you spend money on them or obsess over them in any way, then you've been hustled and scammed. Watching wrestling is essentially free if you have cable and internet, so why give your money to people you don't know, who don't give a shit about you, and probably don't share your beliefs and values? Why do you care about them like that? Why do you idolize them and place them on a pedestal above yourself? Pro wrestling is like pro sports. It will never go under. There will always be more athletes than wrestlers. Stop being marks and giving your money to gypsies and carnies. K100 is my analysis of the relationship between marks and wrestlers basically correct? No. Okay? And let me tell you why. The mark comes from, if you had, for example, if you got like Raven comes to the carnival, what do you call them? The
venue.
No, the fair, the state, like the carnies go in town. They set up a fair. They have the games you can play and win the prizes. Right. Now Raven literally didn't realize that we were playing. We went one time. We did a show at the fair, the fairgrounds, and they had the carnival set up. And there was a game where you toss the ball, and the ball would like go in the hole or like bounce off, right? So Raven would spend money. He'd win like a small prize. Now you could spend more money to win the bigger prizes. Okay, so he would spend the more money to win the bigger prizes, and the ball was bouncing all over the place, right? And so basically, when we were done, Raven said, "I basically just lost my payout." Like what he got paid to wrestle that night, he spent it all trying to win these prizes in the wrestling thing, right? In the games. And I explained, I go, dude, they obviously, when they gave you kind of like a ball that wouldn't bounce as much, okay, when you were spending the cheap money, and when you spent more money, they replaced it with the gimmick ball that was harder to throw in. Like you got worked. I go, you got worked at the carnival, and you're supposed to be one of the workers. And we laughed about it, right? Okay. So, but what they do was, back in the day, a guy like Raven, who was spending big money, one of the carnival people would walk up to him and say, "Hey, how you doing today?" And they would have a little bit of chalk on their finger, and they would leave a mark on the guy's back. Okay. So when the carny people would see the guys with the marks, they would be like, "Hey, come over here and try this game." So you see the marks, like the ones that are the ones that are spending all the money, and you try to get them to go over there. But the marks are basically in the big picture are the people that are not working the carnival. They're the people paying the money. Okay, so the concept of mark and people in the business is the marks are the people that pay the money to go to see the shows, and the people that aren't the marks are the people that work at the shows that go in the back door. You don't pay to work. You're the one working the show. So it evolved over the course of time where basically the marks are the fans, because in wrestling we're not doing gimmicks. You're not marking wrestlers. We're not playing games for you to win big prizes. You're just paying to come see the show. And so, okay, these are the marks. All right. So then that's all the word means, and that as it gravitated to. So, so no, I don't think like we're trying to scam people and stuff like, especially that in this day and age, in 2023, everybody knows it's a work. Okay, but that's still the terminology that we use: marks and workers. You're the worker, you're a mark. So it's like, and the marks. The fans kind of think they're offended by that term, and it's like, dude, you're the people that are paying to come see the shows. It's like, when you think that you've elevated to the level that you should be able to see the show for free all the time, or then come perform, learn to train, learn the business, pay to go to a wrestling school, and you're not a mark anymore. Become one of the workers. Right, but if you're not paying to do what we did to become workers, we were marks too. I used to go to professional wrestling at the Cobb Civic Center, the Omni Atlanta, Georgia. I paid the money to go to the ticket. I go sit in my chair. I'd watch the shows. I was a mark. Then I learned to go in the business. I learned to work. I got hired. I went and performed on the show, and the marks would pay money to come and see me perform. That's where the division. That's it. It's like there's nothing derogatory about it. It's like that's just terminology that we use, and like a lot of people get offended, but that's the thing. If you're paying money to come to the shows, you're a mark. If you're not, if you're a worker, you're the one performing for the marks. That's it. And it's a very simplistic definition. And I don't know why people get so offended at this. Am I right, Conan, or would you?
Well, the problem is that people don't want to be called marks anymore because they think it's derogatory, even though we kind of call them that behind the scenes.
Right.
They want to be called fans. That's what they are, right? But at the end of the day, the guy's logic predicating on if you pay money to a wrestler, you're a mark. Well, then if you go to a concert, you a mark because you paid to go into a concert, or you a mark? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I disagree with you, my friend.
All right. Next one's from Ben. Subject is Martian invasion. What's up, Disco? In a recent episode of Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard, he revealed that Hugo Savinovich, we got to get him on to talk about this, literally pitched a Martian invasion on In Your House pay-per-view, including a UFO landing on top of Titan Tower. Do you think the IWC has a two-tiered justice system where you have been condemned falsely for decades for merely joking about the aforementioned alien invasion, whilst Hugo has gone unscathed for literally pitching the idea? Now, this is coming from Bruce Pritchard, so I would question the validity of the story. So we are going to, the next time he's on the show, we're going to go to the source. And Joe, remember this. Actually, Joe, mark this email and then have this email so we can read it next time Hugo's on the show. Okay. But we'll just get that story straight from Hugo. But I would love to collaborate with Hugo on a Martian invasion angle. If we could like Conan.
Yeah.
Me and Hugo collaborate.
Booking, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And book a Martian invasion angle for AAA.
Right. Who would be in it? Yeah.
Well, for sure, Gravity.
That guy's tremendous. What a JoJo gimmick.
He would be the guy that like.
He keeps. Yeah, that's great. And he calls himself the astronaut of the wrestling or some shit like that. My name is Gravity.
No, you actually have a Martian character. Okay, this character's from outer space, and the thing. Let's say, for instance, is Satnam Singh. It's like 7 feet tall. It's coming out like, has a mask on. Literally, Gravity is backstage and going like, "I got this. I've been on the Mars before. I know how to fight these guys." And he does his Mars walk, and then the guy just picks him up and choke slams him.
The guy comes out now in a. He wrestled QT Marshall on Friday for the AAA belt, and he literally comes out in a spacesuit. Okay. And he does this spacewalk. Wait a minute. He does the spacewalk and he gets booed. I'm like, do you not watch your matches back and people are booing you? And so QT goes, "What's your name?" Or "Como te llama?" Or I think he said it in Spanish. He was like, "Como te llama?" He's like, "I am Gravity. I am the astronaut of wrestling." I'm like, come on, dude.
Backstage, he said.
You know, in the ring. You can find that.
Next is from Dean Buckley, and the subject is soccer player gimmick. All right, boys. Dean Buckley from Cork City, Ireland. Has there ever been a soccer player gimmick? I'm not even going to go through the rest of this. Yes. What was his name? Aldo Montoya. Look it up, Dean.
Oh, that's when he had like a soccer ball mask or something.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a soccer gimmick. Aldo Montoya.
Yeah.
Next one's from Big Rig. Subject is DDP's tan. Hey. I was wondering why none of you guys back in WCW ever told DDP how to tan properly. He kept a decent tan, except whenever he would signal for the diamond cutter, his armpits would look like 2 glasses of milk. Do you not understand that he should lift his arms up for a few minutes in the tanning bed? A detailed explanation of proper tanning bed technique would be appreciated. I would also like to say that a few of the videos I've put together of making wrestling-inspired gym pants, Disco, Honky Tonk Man, Randy Savage, and Repo Man, that Disco was the most viewed. The Man is still a draw. Very interesting from Big Rig there. That's still a draw.
Yeah. And also the Invisible Man figurine was quite the draw for Mass Republic.
Well, let me give you the proper tanning technique that I would use. Okay, if you were in the old-fashioned wolf tanning beds, I would lie down with my hands over my head for the first half, and then I would turn over and lie on my stomach for the second half. That's how I would tan.
Right.
Yeah. And obviously, Paige did not do that. He would stand with his arms at his side, so his armpits.
Right, ridiculous. And also wear the goggles.